I think this project and architecture in general is about the surprise and like how it can reveal itself and how you can turn a corner and it's like, whoa. You have a house that can change and adapt. And I think definitely that was important with NICO. So you have these, 5 suites that could be rented to 5 different groups of people if you wanted to, and kind of function more as a hotel. Have your own little space to get away, but when you choose to have a communal experience, it's right out the door to your suite. There's nothing keeping you, with a single family living in it as a single family house. So we kind of created a very secluded pool area and patio area kind of between the main structure and the street, which was open, and then it opens all the way through this terrace level to the jungle in the back. Hybrid doing in something in Mexico kind of more came from my wife, Nicole. We saw maybe the opportunity of designing and developing something in Mexico as something that could kind of fill both our needs for both creativity in the design and then opportunities for travel. We contacted this real estate agent. He showed us around, a number of lots. The very first one we saw was the one actually that we ended up developing NICO on. And it was really steep and really jungle. And it was like, oh boy, I was kind of thinking even going down to the plane that we would create these little casitas, on a flat lot with some common space and open space between them and a swimming pool. And I was doing some sketches thinking about how much land it would take to do that. So that was my preconceived idea. But when we went to look at available land that wasn't, $2 million, none of them were flat. The site was kind of sloped down, from the hill. So that's a great start, if you're sloping or down from the road. If you're sloping up from the road, the first thing you have to do is you have to cut into the hill, and you're carving into the hill. And also the entire kind of back side of the house is in the hill, and the front of the house is looking out at the street. And it ends up getting very, very, very tall. I think the nice thing about doing a downhill slope is you're not carving into the hill. And what we did in the case of NICO is kind of pull the mass away from the street and then started to go down. And that created, an opportunity for this main terrace level to kind of be open on both sides. When we got back, I emailed Tone in the office and he made the mesh. And then the next morning or even that night, it came back right quick. I did this massing and, we were only down there for a few days, so we had to do it. It's like, it's like sometimes you have to, leap before you look. We purchased this land just, probably 6 months before the pandemic happened. But, also during that time and after, there was this big trend of like digital nomads, the people that work in tech or work doing whatever, and they go to some place and they live there and they work there. It's all external. There's the stairway and the hallway is not enclosed at all. 5 independent suites that kind of live like little apartment units that each have their own bathroom, they each have their own kitchenette. None of them are accessed through interior hallways. They're all accessed to the outside. So it's the space kind of between these individual suites that I think is the most important. And that's really where the community interaction happens. Your own little space to get away. But when you choose to have a communal experience, it's right out the door to your suite. I think the concept for the suites was that, we wanted them all to have some common elements in the concrete is kind of rooting it all together, but them to all feel have their own sense of place. So, the jungle suite has this very warm brick flooring that then spills directly out onto the brick patio, and the colors are warmer and they're more earthy. this is where the building is meeting the ground, and it feels like, you're in the ground, so it's of the ground. As we're going up through the building, the next level, we're kind of looking at through the trees, but mostly at the trunks, and the big canopies are happening above us. So there's the Papaya suite and the Palma suite there, and it's really a lot of the furniture is warmer, picking up the color of the trunks and the branches that you're looking out through. And then we go up another level, and it's kind of the horizon suite, and you can start to look out through the canopy of the trees, and see the horizon, and actually start to see the ocean, and the colors are becoming a little bit brighter, a little bit more colorful. And then finally we get up to the top where there's a roof terrace and a little plunge pool, and that's all about the sky. So in that case, we did some blue tiles that would reflect the sky, and it's very kind of light and bright. One nice thing about, being down there in this small community is you kind of very quickly become part of it, and you ask around and you tell people what you're doing and what you're looking for, and they know people. We knew that we were going to need a local architect. So, everything is in metric, of course, it's in Spanish. They have a pretty strict permitting requirements here in the zoning code and building code. So yeah, we interviewed a couple of other architects, but really settled on Palma as a choice. I mean, we couldn't have done it without him. Frankly, we can do a lot of things down there that we cannot do here. But, really what I wanted to achieve was to try to kind of get to, and the basic elements of construction. The core of it is like to keep that exposed and expressed. So we got a big concrete shell. The windows were all custom designed and fabricated out of steel at a shop in Mexico City. The door is the same. The same shop actually, fabricated all the kitchenettes and the stainless steel main kitchen. We had opportunity to have, the tile for the swimming pools were all hand glazed to a custom color. Even the bricks in the patio and the floor of the jungle suite, was like fired. Like one time I was out there and they were laying out the patio. I was like, that doesn't look like they have enough bricks, to do the patio. They're like, yeah, that's all they had, because they had to fire more of them. And I saw a photo of this thing, and it's like, it was literally like this like kiln in someone's backyard, and it'd hold, a couple hundred bricks, and that's all they could do at a time, and that's all they did. And this is just made, like these bricks were made like, like 5 kilometers down the road. Got to know a lot of the individual craftspeople very well in the course of this. And that was also one of the, I think one of the most, one of the greatest part of the projects. I would call it programmatically indeterminate, that, you have a house that can change and adapt. And I think definitely that was important with NICO, because we weren't entirely sure how it was going to be used or rented, how we were going to use it. And that's been great. So you have these, 5 suites that could be rented to 5 different groups of people if you wanted to, and kind of function more as a hotel. There's nothing keeping you, with a single family living in it as a single family house. But it's also been, I think the most residents has been, groups of people go to stay down there. You got someone's 40th birthday, and they get all their friends from all the country, and they'll go stay there. They'll have a bachelor party or bachelorette party. You'll have family reunions down there. You'll have people from work colleagues who go down there and work. And it functions super great for that, because, you just can't imagine doing the same thing like in a 4-bedroom house. If it's your family, you have to leave your little bedroom to go to the bathroom or get a glass of water, and, and your sister-in-law's there and you got to talk with her or something, and maybe you don't want to. Or, if it's your work colleagues, you do the same thing, and your boss is out there and he's asking you about the deadline. So it's kind of nice to have, once again, have a little peaceful place that is your own, and some autonomy from everyone else. And that's maybe one of the big things we kind of said. It's like it has the autonomy of a more like an Airbnb, his individual suite, um, but also the like flexibility and rental as a hotel. Assumed it would be a big adventure, and it was. Subsequently, I probably spent almost 5 years of my life, pretty heavily invested in this project by the time we decided to do it, by the time it was done. And then when it was done, it was kind of a big letdown. It's like, oh, I was really kind of sad because I really, really enjoyed it. I enjoyed working with everybody in Mexico and getting really immersed in that culture and learning a lot of things architecturally and using different materials and doing such a different project that by the time it was done, it was just gorgeous. It just far exceeded, my ambition of what it was going to be. And it turned out so great. So then you're just like, now what? It's like, it's like you train for a year to run a marathon and you run the marathon and it's hard and you sweat and then you finish it. And I think it's immediate like letdown. I'd say like, shit, I guess I have to run another marathon, but you're not ready for it, So it's like, that was a feeling I had. So now I'm looking, what's our next great adventure? I'm not entirely sure, but we got some ideas out there. But it was a lot of fun, and I would definitely glad I did it. And now it's nice. We go down there, we stay at it and enjoy it. And our friends have enjoyed it, and I'm sure we'll be there for a long time.